Guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, you're welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, you are also welcome. My name is Mide J. As you all know, I film everything beauty, lifestyle, vlog, travels, and all of that good stuff. I feel this sounds like an anthem already, but then moving forward, as you can tell from the title of today's video, I'll be talking about some things you need to do after arriving in the UK. I got this question from just a few people on what to do, and that's why you're seeing this video. Okay, so sit back and enjoy. Guys, the first thing you need to start before leaving your home country is accommodation. You don't want to arrive in the UK and you now start sorting for where to stay. No, you don't want to do that to yourself, okay? Not even everyone has relatives or family members to stay with. If you are like that, sort your accommodation. If you're coming for studies, for work, whatever you're coming for, ensure that you have somewhere to stay. And you don't even have to break a bank to get an accommodation. You can go as low as getting an house share. You can do Airbnb if that's okay, maybe for a short period of time before you sort your accommodation, but then an house share is usually a very good idea. It's a very decent way to start with, okay? I know there might be some troubles here and there concerning house sharing. You know, I was like that because then you start having bathroom issues, toilet issues, kitchen issues, cleanliness and all of that buhaha. But then trust me, it is a very good way to start. I will leave some site on your screen. As you can see, you can go on Spare Room, Rightmove, Zoopla, Facebook Marketplace and all of that sites where you can be lucky enough to get a nice apartment. Okay, so accommodation is really key and it's the first thing you need to do upon arriving in the UK. So guys, secondly, the thing you need to do is to get a SIM card. Now you're well settled, you know, you have to call your people back home. I have arrived into abroad. You have to tell whoever you want to tell, your friends that are here, you know, I'm here now, what's up? So you need a SIM card, and then there are really cheap ones like GiveGaff, Lebara, Tesco Mobile, and quite a couple of them. You know, you just go online and search for them. When I got to the UK, I'm still using that, GiveGaff, and most of the data bundles and the packages, the goodie bags are usually quite affordable. You can pay £15 and that will last you for a month, like 4 weeks. You get unlimited calls within the UK, unlimited text. Then the data bundle can be like, it depends on the gigabyte you want, okay? I'm just trying to let you know that it's quite affordable. And some of them, you buy one, you get one extra. How amazing is that? It's very amazing. So getting a SIM is the second thing on your priority list. So next you need to do is to get your BRP. If you're moving to the UK as a new immigrant, as a student, or to work, you need your BRP. After applying for your visa and your visa has been granted, the details on how to get your BRP will be in a letter that accompanies your visa. Just go through that letter. You're going to see the post office where you go get your BRP, and then so you know, you have to take a proof of identity to get your BRP, and usually that's your passport. Your BRP is just like a smaller card, just like this. I will insert a picture for you on your screen. As you can see, that's what it looks like. It's just like a card, like an ATM card. It bears your the length of the duration of stay you have in the UK, your name, date of birth, and all of those things, because you really need your BRP to do so many things living in the UK. It's a card that signifies your residence permit in the UK, the right to live in the United Kingdom, if that makes sense. Then guys, the next thing you need to do, now you have your BRP, you have your SIM card, you have an accommodation, what you have to do is open a bank account, because at this point, even if you came to work in the UK, your employer will need to pay you. Some people, family, relatives might need to send you money, you know, you need to buy stuffs, okay? So I would first like to chip, before you open the major bank account, you can open some very smaller ones, you know, accounts, but they all work the same way anyways. We have Monzo, we have Monies and Sterling. I'll leave them on your screen and the likes of that. You know, when I got here, I tried to open Monzo and Monzo didn't give me an account. I don't know why. I think they do a bit of selective picking picking or random selection to give people their bank account. So I thought, or so I still think, but then later I got to know of Monies. Monies is easier to open, I'm not even gonna lie. But then some people opened Monzo and they were granted opportunity to open an account with them. So Monzo is there for you, Monies, Sterling, and the likes of them. Before you now get to open a major account with, I opened with Barclays because that's my salary account. You can open with Barclays, you can open with TSB, you can open with numerous ones like that. Okay, you just have to go with I think usually they ask for your letter of employment. That's your employment letter. If you're a student, you go with your admission letter, your proof of identity, your passport, and all of that. Okay, then you get to open an account. And everything you do, you should know that you need a proof of address. Any little thing here in the UK, they will tell you, bring your proof of address. This, bring your proof of address. So what is a proof of address? It's just a document or anything that shows that you actually live in this particular, you occupy this particular house, or you are a resident of this house. And I want you to know there's a difference between your proof of address and your proof of identity. Your proof of identity is what shows that you are you, and that includes your passport, your BRP, your provisional license, which I'll talk about later. And while your proof of address is your utility bill, like the water bill, the electricity bill, council tax bill, and all of those stuff, and especially your tenancy agreement. So if you're asked to bring your proof of address, and it's better to have these things handy before you even start applying for stuff, because it's gonna be quite stressful when you start applying or doing things and they're telling you to bring this thing and you don't have it. So ensure you have a proof of address. All you have to do is reach out to your landlord. It will be able to provide you with the tenancy agreement. Another thing I would like to talk about is to register with a GP. Some of us, we have coconut head. I have spent almost 5 months in the UK before I actually agreed to go and register with the GP. That is very wrong. Don't be like me. Thank God I didn't fall sick. I didn't have any cause to visit the hospital within this 5 months, because if there was any occurrence like that, it won't be a major problem, because I'll still be attended to no matter what. But don't do like that. Immediately you know that you'll be staying in the UK for a while, for years, a couple of years, or month. It depends. I don't know why you're coming. It depends on why you're coming to stay in the UK. Ensure that you register with it. And what is a GP? A GP is just like a doctor, like what we term a family doctor in our own country, like in Nigeria, what we term family doctors, but they are not for your family really. They are for people in a particular axis, living or living in a particular residential area. Okay? So your GP is like the one who monitors your health. If you have any issues, any complaints, your GP is who you call. All right, so it's really easy. Just go online, type your postcode, and then it's going to bring the different GP around you. Then you register with them. Okay, I think it brings out a form. You sign the form, and then they send you a confirmation email. I even received an hard copy of a confirmation email just to show that yes, you're now registered on the RELS. Because unlike in Nigeria, where when you have a headache, you can just walk up to any hospital or any health center to get things done regarding your health. It's not like that here. We have, when you see, we call something repart. Where I work, if a patient is on duty, as far as you're feeling well, we repart you back to where you're coming from. That's, maybe you're in London, I'm working, for instance, maybe I'm working in London, and then you're sick in London. As soon as you're fine, I send you back to Manchester where you're living. You go and meet the trust, the hospital, the GP in that, because they believe that your GP should be the one accountable for your health. Okay, and that's how it worked. Some of us, we have coconut head. Someone like me, I got coconut head. I know the year word. It took me time to register, and that was really bad. So as soon as you get here, you're well settled. After like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, try to register with a GP. It's not going to cost you anything. So another thing you need to do is to get a national insurance number. It's not national identification number, no, national insurance. And what does that mean? That's just a number everybody has there, so it's peculiar to individual. Everybody has their own number, and it shows that you are paying tax. Okay, that's just like, because if you don't have that number, if you want to get a job in the UK, you're relocating here, you want to get a job, you need an NI number. You need to provide your employer with an NI number. How will they know you are paying tax? That's the only major way they can know that you are paying tax, and your tax is up to date. So go online, just check, go on Google, check how to get my NI number, and then it's going to bring just follow the prompt. Okay, your NI number is very significant here in the UK. There are lots of protocols, all right, and that's why I just decided to do this video, so you know these things and your life will be much easier. Okay, one other thing you need to do is to get a provisional license, because sometimes you can't always carry your passport along with you. That's your international passport everywhere you go. Something that can stand in place of that is a provisional license. And what's actually amazing and interesting about this is that it has a long span. I think the span is about 10 years before it expires, and then you cannot drive, just so you know, with a provisional driver license. Okay, usually people use it as a form of identification. I think before you can drive with a provisional driver license, you have to upgrade it, of course, to a normal driving license. If you want to use your provisional driver license compulsorily, you have to have someone by your side driving with you, someone that has driven in the UK for 3 years, okay, or someone that is a driving instructor, or driving tutor, something like that, before you can use your provisional driver license to drive. In the use of people, just use it as a form of identification, because over here in the UK, it's not like, for instance, Nigeria, you want to buy alcohol, you want to buy some things that they will just sell it to you. It's not like that. Everything is quite regulated over here. There is a body governing that. You have to have a proof of identification, your passport or your provisional driver license, something that shows that you are above 18, you are not underage, something that will convince them that you are not a teenager or a child. Okay, so it has happened to me a couple of times. You want to get a call, you want to get anything, they will tell you they want to see your, even you can't just walk up to a shop or store here and get a knife, because those things are quite regulated over here. Their purchases are quite regulated, so you need a proof of identity, and then you can take your passport with you everywhere. So lastly, guys, one more thing you need to do to make your life easier in the UK is to get cards, discount cards, vouchers, and all of that. See, a pound discount in the UK is quite a lot. Yeah, so when I got to UK, I registered with the blue light whatever, so I got the blue light card. I will leave the link in the description box, and then as you can see on your screen right now, that's what the blue light card looks like. And what does it do? But you have to be an NHS staff. Actually, you have to work with the NHS to use the blue light card, and it helps you to purchase things with discount prices, like ridiculous discount prices. And then if you know that there are some stores that are close to your house, like Tesco, Morrison, Lidl, Aldi, or whatever, and all the like, try to get their cards. That will give you opportunities to get points, because shopping here in the UK is quite a lot. It's cheap. Some things are actually very cheap, but then getting points will be a plus for you. There are some days I just go to stores, get stuffs, and I don't get to pay. I just pay with the points on my card. You can even have the card on your phone. Just download the applications. For instance, I use Lidl. I have their cards. So if you buy stuffs, tell them you have the card, so they help you to reverse all the points on what you've gotten into the card. So if the points in the cards have accumulated to a reasonable amount, when you come back to get stuff, they will just, you don't have to pay. Get cards from the different shopping marts or shopping outlets that you get stuff from on a regular, because this will help you to save also, okay, and to make your life easy. Guys, I hope this video is really informative. If you find it helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. This is thumbs down, this is thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to please hit the notification bell so you can be duly notified whenever I post a new video. Like this video, share with your friends and family, comment, and ultimately subscribe. It will mean a lot to me. Okay, I'll see you guys in my next one. Until then, you know how we do it. Peace and bye. Then guys, in everything you do upon arriving in the UK, what was that? So when next, if the cards have, the points in the cards have accumulated, have